before anybody asks, no, this is not the thing with Art the Clown. We'll probably get to that eventually at some point. I still haven't even seen that film. But that's not what we're here to talk about today.
Nope.
So, hey, it's me, Aaron.
And I'm Michelle.
This is Thorgiween, where we're reviewing a horror film every single day, all month long. And we are right smack dab in the middle of International Horror Week, in which we were talking about a different horror film from a different country every single day this week. And today we're going to Argentina for Terrified. I have been interested.
I thought you were going to say intrigued.
I didn't know which one I wanted to say either. That's why I was stumbling. I was going back and forth between the two.
Intrigue arrested.
Yes. About this film for a little while because like 2 years ago, Shudder did a top 100 scariest movie moments list. And this was on there. And it looked very intriguing to me. But at the same time, this is a Shudder original. They didn't make it. I think they published it. I think it was one of those things where it got made in Argentina by some studio down there, and then Shudder was the person who was like, we'll distribute it.
Yeah.
Because Shudder loves to do that. Like, this whole week, a lot of the things we've watched have been on Shudder. Like, if you're looking for international horror films, they're the MVPs, because they're like, we need things to put on our streaming service. Hey, you, film that couldn't get distribution in America, we'll take you. Hey. So yeah. But my point is, because this film was on a Shudder show about best horror movie moments, and it was being distributed by Shudder, I was like, conflict of interest?
It's a bit biased.
Yes, okay. But watching it now, this thing slaps. I freaking like this movie. This thing, it does have problems. But it's one of the few films of the past, like, decade or something that, you know, I watch a lot of horror films, obviously. And when you watch enough horror films, you don't really get that fear in you anymore. Like, that, you eventually get numb to that. This is one of the first films in a while where I was like, oh, I got those hairs rising on the back of my neck. Like, I'm feeling it in this one. And the crazy thing is, there's very little story to this. This is a basic film. It, like, barely even feels like it has, like, a 3-act structure to it. And I know I've used that term multiple times this week talking about the films that we've been discussing, but
you know, after watching The Wailing, I'm kind of glad that this has, like, a simpler storyline.
I was thinking, this is such a great film to go to from The Wailing that we did yesterday. And by the way, I really like The Wailing, but man, it's a lot. It's 2.5 hours long, and there's tons of twists and turns, and you don't know what the heck is going on in there. In this one, it's like, this is a solid, like, hour and a half, and it's just like, it almost feels like a bottle film. There's 3 locations, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all right next to each other. I also clapped my hands so the dog came running in. Hey, buddy, wanna get up here? Wanna get up, buddy? Mwah. Poof.
Here we go.
You're gonna jump down any moment now. Hey, bud. Oof. Settle.
Yeah, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, just completely blocked me. Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna look like Peach is doing all the talking.
I give this movie 2 paws up. So anyway, now we're just doing this. That's the thumbnail too. All right, yeah, screw it. So
just, like, have your hands waving around so it looks like Peach is doing it. Like those dogs from Sesame Street.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Okay, so this is what people really come here for. I'm going to be able to scroll over the time code on the video and just see a huge spike at this moment. Anywho, as I was saying, The Wailing, it was just so incredibly complex yesterday. In this film, this is a haunted house thing. And I will admit, it's not entirely straightforward because I was still watching this thing like, so what exactly are the threats here? Because it feels like, don't get me wrong, I'm always fine with the explanation just being, it's ghosts. You don't need a full answer on this one. But we're following a group of scientists, and one of them very clearly seems to know what's going on. But she never is that straightforward. Like, she is, considering that one of the people in here is not a paranormal researcher, she is way too cryptic with that dude, but we will get to all that later. This film starts out, and it feels like it's an anthology horror film in the beginning. Because it starts out and we're following this guy who is going to bed with his wife. She gets up to go and take a shower. He starts hearing these sounds coming from the house next to them. He goes out, investigates it, and he just says, wait a minute, that's not coming from the house next door. And then he discovers where it's actually coming from, and it involves his wife, and I will not ruin exactly what it is, but it is one of, like, the moment I saw that, I was like, oh, that's a really good scare.
Mm-hmm.
That was set up, had the build up to it, did not expect what I was going to see, sufficiently creepy. Very well done. But then it cuts to him, and he is in police custody, and these 3 paranormal researchers, 3 older people, they're there, and they're asking him questions, and he goes, well, something happened with my neighbor, Walter. And then it cuts to Walter, and we see him, and he is scared of something under his bed. You know, classic scary thing. Something under the bed and something in the closet. But as it goes on, you see there is indeed something under the bed and in the closet. And it is, again, I will not spoil too much, but it's just shot incredibly well. Like, it's one of those things where anytime that the camera turns, like, they know exactly how much to show you. They know exactly, like, when to end the scare, when to go to the next thing. This film just really knows how to handle each of its scares. And that's Walter's story. And then it cuts to a different story that shows this little kid. Little kid is going up to one of the neighbors' houses, and he gets a little drink of water. The neighbor starts trying to scare him away. Kid backs away, and then gets hit by a bus. And that, again, that was one of those moments that I had to stop the thing right there, because I went, I genuinely did not see that coming. And I realized I was watching this without you. And I was like, okay, I'll watch this. If it's good, we'll do it for the show. And I'll tell you to watch it later. I had to stop it right then because I was like, we're definitely doing this for the show.
Yeah, it's like, I wanted to ask you at what point did you stop, but I realized that would spoil some scenes, so...
And the second that the kid got hit by the bus, I was like, stop, like, I've been genuinely impressed by everything that I have seen so far. And then the moment that came in, I was like, all right, yeah, we're definitely watching this for the show. You're gonna watch this with me. So that's when we started rewatching it.
The kid, wasn't he like on Walter's territory?
I don't
property?
know, because all the houses look similar.
Yeah.
But I think that was the implication, because Walter was let into by the first story. So it feels like this kid was let into by Walter. It feels like that had to be the connection.
Yeah. Because, like, I remember, like, basically, was it Paul or Pablo was the name of the first...
What was the name of the first guy? I think it was Pablo.
Okay.
No, Pablo was the cameraman. Sorry. Yes. I don't know. Yeah, we got the guy over there.
Jono? Sorry.
Something like that.
I'm sorry. We have the IMDb up, but, like...
There are no images on it. This is how low budget this thing was. None of the actors have IMDb pages. So we have the IMDb page open over there.
And we have the names, but we don't really have the faces.
There's no faces. None. Yeah. So,
guy number one.
I was going to say, just say that.
Like, basically, like, during the interview, they were asking him, did anything strange happen the past, 2 weeks? And he said, well... Like, there was the accident. And he also mentioned that his neighbor was remodeling. So
you kind of get the sense that this whole thing is going to be the main guy, the first guy who we met. It's going to be him telling stories of things that have happened in his neighborhood that have been weird. And then we cut to those stories and we see, like, what the actual weird thing was that happened there. Mm-hmm. Because after that kid dies, they have the funeral. And then it cuts to a police officer who is being called in to investigate this. And he goes in there, and he even knows the family of the kid who died. So that's why he gets called into this. He goes in, and the kid is now back inside the house. Not alive again, though.
No.
He's still a rotting corpse, like just skin gray, falling apart.
Yeah.
And he is sitting there at the dinner table with a glass of milk in hand.
And completely motionless.
Yeah.
Until they turn their back and they hear a clank and they turn back around. and the glass of milk has been spilled, but he
hasn't moved.
Yeah, it's like,
and it makes you go, did that actually happen? And that is the thing that I have to give this film, and why I say like it's the scares are the big attraction of this. It's not really the story. Story's incredibly basic.
Yeah,
the scares are what is so impressive about this. The person who made this knows how to shoot every one of these scares. They know the correct amount of buildup. They know how to make you look at A while you're expecting B to happen, and then C comes in. Like, they know the art of the misdirect on this, because this police officer calls in an older police officer who comes in there, starting to investigate, and you get the sense that the older police officer kind of has more of a connection with the supernatural. Like, maybe he's seen some stuff in his time.
Mm-hmm.
And the two of them are just talking there, and they're examining the kid. They're looking real close to them. Kid's not moving at all. And then they just keep talking, and they keep talking, and they keep talking about how, like, oh, they say it moved. Somebody kept saying it moved. And they keep talking about this, and then they go on about this other subject in here. And you, the audience, never forget the kid is there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just sitting there like, what is going to happen? Something's going to happen. I know it's going to. What's going to happen? 3
houses in the neighborhood are being haunted. And it just so happens that there are 3, like, investigators.
Which, this is the thing that I'll say. In the beginning, it felt like this was going to be an anthology. It was going to be this guy in prison telling these investigators all these different stories about the different things that have happened in the neighborhood. You want to get down, buddy? There you go, buddy. Just telling stories about things that have happened in the neighborhood, and that was going to be the entire film. No, that's when it stops. And now it cuts to the 3 investigators.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was a doctor who Walter kept trying to call up, and because apparently he knew she was a paranormal investigator, and they even mentioned, like, you have to get proof of what's going on. So he tried to contact her. The second investigator person who comes in was the old guy who the cop called in. And then the third one is just some guy.
Yeah,
we don't get the introduction to him.
Yeah, it's like, oh, he's an acquaintance of mine. He dabbles in this same sort of stuff. Yeah. And that's basically his introduction. Like,
that's literally it. Rosentalk, that's his name. They mentioned that, like, he's investigated some stuff in the US before, and there are several moments where he just speaks English.
Yeah.
But, like, it's so odd kind of how he speaks English, because it's not like, I don't know. It's hard to describe why it's kind of odd when he speaks English, because it doesn't feel like he's naturally doing it in the conversation. Like, he'll just say, like, the key penultimate thing that needs to be talked about, but it's in English, and it's just like, this guy just comes off as, like, a little, like, there's something kind of off about him. And it's not just the English thing. It's also a lot because, A, we didn't meet this guy. The other 2 people we met before this, but also the police officer who called the older police officer in, he's there as well. And he gets paired up with Rosentalk, which feels like he'd be paired up with his friend who he knows and has experience with, but no, he gets paired up with Rosentalk. And the entire time, he's freaking out about stuff, and Rosentalk is like, oh, this is very interesting. Like, there's a moment in which Rosentalk gets, like, stabbed, and that's not like a spoiler, he doesn't die or anything to that or anything, but, like, he gets, like, stabbed, and, like, he screams out in pain, but then he immediately goes, oh, look at this thing here. It's like, and he's, like, giving the officer, like, instructions on, like, how to do stuff, and he's just very nonchalant about all this. And yeah, just something feels off about this guy. And the fact that we didn't get any introduction to him is such a big question mark in this movie. But the rest of this film, it is these 3 investigators and the officer.
Yes, and they're investigating each house.
Yeah, and that's it. They're looking into the different stuff in here. But the film, it feels like in any other movie, those 3 things that we mentioned happening in the other houses would have been like the first 10 to 15 minutes of the movie. And then the entirety of the movie would have been mainly focusing on these 3 in the separate houses and what they're doing. No, like I said, I thought this was going to be an anthology because those 3 stories are stories. Like, they have a beginning, middle, and end. And so now this part of the 3 investigators in there, it's like maybe like the last like 40 minutes of this hour and a half long film. Like it's the last half of this movie.
Yeah.
So they don't do a ton in there. It feels like each of the investigators get like 2 scenes. Don't get me wrong, they do get more than that. But it feels like 2 scenes, if that makes any sense. Like, it feels like we don't spend a ton of time with each of them in these houses.
Yeah. I actually like that. I feel like that's a very interesting way to, like, explain what's going on. Like, instead of, like, revealing it as it goes, like, something happens to this guy and he explains what happens within the neighborhood, and that's how they end up where they are.
I will say this, if you are somebody who enjoys when horror films do not explain a lot of stuff, you will love this film. Because we are mostly kind of following from the POV of the officer, the guy who doesn't know about the paranormal. This is all new to him. And that poor guy, because he even mentions like he's going to retire in like 2 days because he has health issues.
Yeah.
Because he's been mentally scarred from the things he's seen on the force. And why would you invite this guy along for this? Why would you do that? But the other 3 investigators, they're all older. You can tell they've seen stuff. Like the lady who Walter was trying to call, she's even got like some giant contraption. It looks like something that people in medieval times would use to calculate where the stars are. Like it's got all these like dials.
Was it a gyroscope? Is that it?
Something, I don't know. But it's got like a pendulum swinging around.
Yeah, like a lot of all these like doohickeys that spin around and turn and basically supposed to like point to whatever supernatural thing is occurring at the moment.
Something like that, yeah. But you see each of these people in the houses, and like I said, it feels like there's only like 2 scenes with each of them, even though there are more. But the reason why it feels like there are 2 scenes is because each scene kind of leads up to a scare. And that's the stuff that's memorable in this movie. And it's called Terrified because, like I said, we're mostly following the police officer. And while everybody else seems calm about all this, this dude does not hide. He is scared out of his mind. And rightfully so.
Yeah.
But I just had that thought while we were watching this. It is rare to see a horror film where someone being scared is such a big focus of it. Because, like, there is a moment in which you can just tell, like, he has to race outside. He's just like, like, yeah. And we're just sitting there with him as he is just like, he's just terrified. Like, it feels like he's going to piss his pants.
And also, like, his heart condition.
He's got a heart condition.
Yes. So I'm like, oh God, is he literally going to die of fright?
It feels like that's what this movie is about. Like, you hear the name Terrified, and when you watch this film, it makes total sense. The whole point of this movie is this guy going to actually die of fright? Like, forget will the monster actually get him? Is he going to die before it gets to him? It's very interesting to see a film that does that. Because I feel like in most horror films, you know, someone screams, they run, and then they get to a place and they're like, okay, thank goodness I'm away from that thing. Here, it is like, it's like mental torture porn. Like, man, I jumbled that sentence up, but you know what I mean. It feels like, okay, we're not watching anybody get like cut up and bloodied or anything, but we are watching some guy go through it. And that is the movie in there. But like I said, it works because the people who are making this film know how to shoot scary moments. Like, I'm not going to go into too many details on any of them until we get to the spoiler section in here. Because I don't want to like ruin any of these for anybody. Like, I even feel bad about mentioning the kid getting hit by the bus. That's one of the few moments that make me actually go, holy shit. Because you don't see it coming. But, like, I'll just say, like, there is one moment in here that it's one of the most well-shot, scary moments in here. And it's not, like, clever. It's not like, oh, someone found a new way to do a horrifying sequence. No, this is a very easy-to-do scary scene. People don't do it. Maybe it's because it's just so basic. But the guy who shot this knew how to shot this scene so that this very basic scare feels terrifying. There's a moment in here in which somebody is being talked to. He's in here, and the other 2 people are like right here on each side of the camera. And the guy, as he's being talked to, he just keeps staring off in the distance, and then he just points. He goes, "Did he come with you?" And then we just see the two people, and we just hold them and pointing directly at the camera. And then we see the two guys who were sitting in front of him with their backs to the camera just go. And it just holds on this guy pointing and these two people looking and him just saying that ominous line, did he come with you? And I won't say like what happens from that point on, but it's like, you are genuinely afraid of what's going to be revealed when that camera cuts around. That camera could not even cut around, and you just leave it in the audience's mind because, yeah, this film knows when to let the audience leave it up to their imagination. Again, there's not a ton to talk about in the story here. It's just a series of scary moments in 3 haunted houses. There aren't a ton of them. You're not being just being barraged with them over and over and over again until you get numb to it. They're just all shot really damn well. I was genuinely impressed by this. That being said, the story is really kind of basic, so if you're looking for something a little bit more detailed than that, I understand.
Yeah.
Also, I will say, I do understand why in a horror film you might not want to have everything explained, but it is clear that one of the people there who are investigating knows what's up, and she just will not tell this poor guy what's happening. She just gives him cryptic messages. Like, there's a moment in which he just goes, "You didn't touch the tap water, did you?" And I thought about that, and then I thought back to the kid who crawled out of the ground. What did we see? He was drinking the water out of the hose there in the backyard when he was told, "Hey, don't drink that." And then his corpse comes back and is just sitting in the house there, and it's like, okay, so the water's connected, and she understands that.
Yeah, like, even, like, in the very beginning, like, when they were, like, when the wife before...
yeah, we're not gonna say what happened to the wife, but you do see that water was involved.
Yeah, like, it's like she was, like, cleaning her dishes or something. And, like, she swore she could have heard, like, voices coming from, like, the faucet, or, like, the drain of the sink.
Yeah.
So, yeah, water is definitely involved in this.
Definitely involved in it. And I can't lie, I got a little bit annoyed by the fact that someone in this movie knows 100% what is happening, and they won't tell us. That's, like I said, I am fine with a horror movie not explaining everything. In fact, many times it's even scarier if they don't. But it is a pet peeve of me when there is a character who does know and just, for some reason, refuses to tell people. And that is indeed in this film. But that being said, I still did find the scares incredibly disturbing. Like, it freaked me out, and it's basic stuff. Like, the second story we got was, there's something under my bed. Most basic horror premise you can have. It was the original horror premise. And it's just really impressive to me how the filmmakers here were able to take these really simple concepts and make them really scary. Like, if you want to be a filmmaker and you want to know how to shoot scary scenes, watch this movie. This movie knows. Anything else that you want to say about here before we give our scores and get into spoilery stuff?
I don't think so.
Yeah. No, I'll say that for the spoiler part. Okay. I will give this... I'm going to go B+.
I think so, too. Because, like, it was enjoyable, but there were some scenes where it's like...
yeah, like, it's disappointing for me to say B+, because, like I said, I cut this thing off, like, maybe not even half an hour in. And when I cut it off at that point, I honestly was thinking, oh my god, if it maintains this, it's not going to be in my top 10 horror films, but this could be in my top 20. Like, if it maintains this level throughout the film, oh man, I'm looking at a new favorite in here. And it did not. It did not.
Yeah.
I didn't really care. Like, I wish it had just been an anthology, just sticking with these short stories, because I think that they're really good. But that being said, even if I think the second half isn't nearly as good as that first half, this film is still really well made. It's still really good. Just it might not have as much story in there as what you might be looking for. But okay, let's get into the spoiler stuff in here. One thing that I will say is that, and this is one of the reasons why I'm not that upset that the old professor lady seemed to know everything, but was refusing to tell him the information. She gets taken out, like almost instantly and unceremoniously. And I feel like that adds to a lot of the tension in here, because when the person who knows everything that's going on, then they get taken out. And also, she kept telling over and over again, the things that you're seeing might not actually be real. You might be seeing things that are not actually happening. And that really kept sticking with me in this, because right before this, he went into the house of his friend, and he could hear sounds coming from, like, it felt like the TV, I thought it was, or like a cabinet or something. And just pulls it around, starts ripping out the back, and you see his friend in there, but now his face is all white and pale. And his friend, who has been incredibly straight-faced and very just mellow about everything he's seen, just been very blasé about everything. He is now screaming out, "There's shards of glass in my eye, get me out of here." And then he goes over to that lady, to the house that she's in, and he's telling her, "I tried to get him out, but I couldn't get him out." And she's just saying, "You might not be seeing what you're actually seeing." Like, she's just being so, like, you might be wondering, why am I so upset about the fact that she won't tell him anything? It's because she is so unaffected by all this. Like, she is so just, whatever, yeah. It's not, it might not be what you're saying. It's like, if you are not panicking at all and this guy is freaking the hell out, tell him something. That's why it was driving me nuts, because she was so calm about all this. But she was, she's just telling him, like, everything they're seeing might not actually be happening. And then she just gets her, like, a hand comes out, grabs her, and sucks her into, like, this crack in the wall. Mm-hmm. And he then passes out with a heart attack. And like we said, the entire point of this film is, it's just watching some guy get scared. Mm-hmm. And he's got a heart condition. And it's the question of, not will the monsters get him, but is he going to get scared so much he dies from it? And I find that so interesting of a premise for a film.
Yeah.
It's not really the monsters that we're supposed to be scared of. Is the scares from the monsters the real threat? Mm-hmm.
It's like, that's something not a lot of people think about, but it's more common than you think. Like, yes. People being scared and having, like, heart conditions and stuff like that. And I
don't even have a heart condition. I have been in situations where for, like, even a brief moment, I thought, oh my God, this might be it. And I felt myself about to pass out from it. Like, until you are actually in a situation where you think you might die, you do not know how you are going to react. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, just run out of there and you'll be fine. It's like, dude, there are moments where...
Like, you are, like, stricken with fear that you can't even think straight.
Yeah, there's, I'm not going to say what movie it is because I've already referenced it once this week. But there's a movie that I've seen people do reactions to. And there comes a moment in that film where somebody just doesn't react. They can't fight back against the monster. And everybody's like, why aren't you doing this thing? It's like, I get it. Because he's scared out of his fucking mind. That's why. And yeah, I kind of like that we saw a film where, no, someone had a very real reaction to all this, which was heart attack. And then as he gets into his car, you see her come running out with, like, her neck snapped and her head hanging down, like the body just running at him, but the head is just upside down.
Like it's been twisted and then, like, limp.
Yes. And she's still talking and screaming at him and screaming, get back here, we're being tortured. And that's that moment where I was like, it really works, because she was so blasé throughout the rest of this. So professional, unthinking, just very serious, very unaffected by everything. Then you see her, like, nearly headless body running and screaming, we're being tortured, help us, help us. It's like, oh my God. Again, it's very simple, but to have a character who is so serious now screaming in terror, it's like, this must be the most frightening thing in the world. This is a person who studies all this, and when she was, like, face to face with this monster earlier, staring into, like, this little crack in the wall, she was still just like, interesting. So to see her now acting like that, it does make you just go, God damn, how much are you being how bad is this for you right now? And yeah, that's a wonderful thing of like, it's a weird combination between showing you the scary thing and not showing you the scary thing. Nearly headless body screaming at you as it runs. Terrifying. We don't see the kind of torture that she's going through wherever she is.
Yeah.
Even scarier. Yeah, like I said, this is just a really impressive film because the person knew how to do horror. Wish I looked up the director and writer's names before we started doing this. My mistake. But now we gotta come back to, what was his name? I've completely forgotten his name, but the third guy. That dude, kind of disappears. The officer just leaves. He's just like, fuck this guy. I am out. He's showing me creepy monsters under the bed and trying to, think it's cool. Nah, I'm out. And then, we just don't really see that guy anymore until, one shot of him just being in the house, looking at equipment, and then the door slowly opens behind him. That's the last we see of him. And then, again, this is the guy, that's the one guy who we have gotten no explanation of. We hadn't met him before this.
Didn't you say, Rawson?
It's Rawson something, yeah. But at the end of this, they then come back to the original guy. He is once again in the police station being interviewed, but now he's being interviewed by cops, and they're like, okay, listen, we don't think that you did that to your wife. We think it might be this officer guy. He burned down a house, and he's now disappeared. We need your help to try and catch this. We understand that, this was not you now. We want to help you. And that's when he points behind them. They turn around and reveal there's nothing there, which is even scarier because, again, it means he sees something now that the rest of us don't. And then he grabs the photo of the Rosenthal guy or whatever his name was and slides it across and goes, oh, yeah, this guy disappeared. We have no files on him. And it makes me think back to how the professor lady kept saying, you might see things tonight that you haven't seen before. You might see things tonight that you've never seen. They're not real. They're not actually real. We had never seen that Rosenthal guy before that night.
Mm-hmm.
What if that guy doesn't exist at all? What if the professor and the cop guy who were the pros who knew all about this and they weren't being affected by any of this, what if they actually were already being affected by this? What if the guys were like, no, you might be seeing things that don't exist? Maybe they were already seeing some things that didn't exist. Then again, no, we saw him in the police station. But
it was from
his point of view,
yes.
The guy who now is pointing at the blank nothingness and going, that's him right there. It's like, oh shit, yeah, it really makes me think of does that guy exist at all?
I thought he does exist, but he's a demon or something. He's the one who lured everyone into this trap.
Entirely possible, yeah.
Because basically he finds out one of the monsters in the house are affected by light and dark.
Yeah.
And he's
that's the part where he said in English for no, what you just said, light and darkness. And it was just very odd that's why it was, I know it probably sounded weird when I was like, it's kind of odd they just spoke English at one point. The reason why it's odd is because he's speaking Spanish throughout this entire thing. And then it gets to the point in which he mentions the way that the demon works. And that for some reason he just said in a different language. It was odd. It's why are you saying that particular part in another language?
Yeah, but once again, he doesn't seem human, so...
Yeah, exactly. Something just seemed off about this guy from the start. Something just very much seemed off about this guy. Yeah, I'm genuinely intrigued about, okay, what really happened? Who is this guy? What's going on here? I really enjoyed this film. I just did not enjoy that second half as much as I did the opening half. And also, I will fully admit, I just enjoyed the second half because they still knew how to frame a shot. Which you don't realize until you watch a film like this. How many filmmakers don't know how to do that? It feels like, oh wow, this was more special than I thought it was.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about the kid or anything, and I feel like we should.
Oh, you mean the zombie kid?
Yeah, like more like his mom.
That's.
Yes.
I was gonna say we talked about the little zombie kid.
Yeah, but like
the mom.
Yes.
She's got her own thing going on.
Yeah, like basically, like the zombie kid comes back and the police officer is like, we should probably return the body, and eventually like the mother digs up her zombie kid again. It's like, he's my child. How dare you bury him? And like
there's a line that she has in there in which is after the officer has had the heart attack and he is struggling down there on the ground. And she comes up to him and like, she's been gone this entire time.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't seen her in a while. And now she just reappears and she is looking down at him and is like, you buried my son in concrete. And just like, he can't run. He can't do anything. He's begging for her to take him to the hospital. And now she's very mad that, her son, who came back as a zombie, wasn't allowed to remain as a zombie. What's going on? Yeah,
I feel like she was just so distraught about losing her child that she was willing to accept even a zombie form of her child.
Yes.
And she's just like so pissed off at the officers, like she enjoys watching him struggle on the ground. And
that's her baby. It doesn't matter if he's now covered in flies. And how dare you, she definitely did not take the loss of her son well, as if anybody would take that well.
Yeah.
But when he came back, it broke her. It was like, no. He came back. He moved. He's still in there. Why are you taking him away from me again? Yeah, it is a painful moment to see her going through that. Yeah.
Yeah, like everybody is going through everything, basically.
Yes. Except for the two professors who have no emotions, but then they go through everything. Yeah. Man, this one, again, if you're looking for a good story, not really here. I will fully admit that. If you're just looking for a film that knows how to frame scary moments, this thing knows it. Like, I watched this, I was like, God, somebody give these guys another film and just make it an anthology, because I don't know after watching this how well they can do a long form movie, but I know from that first 30 minutes, these people really know how to do shorts. Yeah. I would love to see them just do like film that's just 5 shorts, but give them the new Creepshow.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking that.
Creepshow. I know Creepshow is on. Oh my God, Creepshow is on Shudder as a TV show. Shudder bought Creepshow as a TV and turned it into a TV series. Shudder also distributed this. My God, the two halves of the sandwich are ready to merge, man. Come on. We got this.
Terrifying series.
Yeah, I would watch that. Man, if you just made an anthology series called Terrified, every episode like 30 minutes long, of them just doing like a short, I'd watch the hell out of that thing.
Yeah.
These guys have earned that.
Yeah, that being said, it does kind of feel like it has like a lower budget because some of the special effects were...
Oh, it definitely has a low budget. I mean, like we said, we just looked at the IMDb page and no one even has photos up there. Like, this is low budget. I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Like, the CGI that they use, they hardly ever use.
Yeah.
So, I'm fine with that.
You can even pinpoint there's a moment in which they're showing, like, the creature under the bed and it's, like, tweaking around and it's, like, just a few short frames, but you know something? Works. I thought that little bit in there worked. At the very end, we're in the spoiler section here, so I can say it. The very last shot of the movie is a chair being thrown at the screen. It's CGI and it sucks. That is the one effect that I'm like, oh no.
Like you mentioned, like it should be a TV series, and I was just joking. Like it has the budget of a TV series.
Yeah. They know how to work with it.
Yeah, exactly. That's not entirely a bad thing.
Yeah, the filmmakers here, like, they are rising stars. I would absolutely be like, I will watch whatever the hell you do next. You've earned at least one free definite watch from me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I gotta look up and see like what they have continued to do since then, because this was like 2017. They have to have done something since then. But yeah, anything else you want to say?
No, that's pretty much it.
Cool, that is it. Come back tomorrow when we're going to Indonesia for International Horror Week with
Satan slaves.
I keep forgetting the name of this, so I have to keep going to her for it. Sorry.
It's like, I just remember it because it sounds like a very typical B horror movie.
It really does. It really does. We'll talk more about that tomorrow.
I'm pretty sure the title sounds a lot cooler in its native language.
Quite possibly. But there you go. That is it. Come back tomorrow for that. Bye, everybody.
Bye.